Good morning, everyone. It's December 22nd, 2018. I'm here at the Free Thought Project. Game changer French police to join Yellow Vests after finding out government is ripping them off too. Now, I don't need to get into but maybe the first paragraph of this article. There's a couple more here on the Free Thought Project I'm going to hit as well since I'm here. As the Yellow Vests protests continue, or as they continue, to take place across France, the government has been slowly acquiescing to the demands of the citizens. However, the concessions have not been enough, and so they have stayed in the streets, although mostly calm. Also in the streets are the French police, who, according to reports, are also growing wary with the French state. And the reason this is because the French state is ripping off pension funds and retirement and all that from the police. The very same thing is happening in the United States. People who have government retirement plans, pensions, their pensions, their retirement plans are being eaten up. And pretty soon, they're not going to have that retirement that they thought they were going to. And I wonder, how are they going to react when they figure this out? If they figure it out. And according to All News Pipeline, U.S. Navy veteran has a message for socialists working to destroy America. Be careful of what you wish for. The Yellow Vest revolution against socialism and globalism has arrived in America. And I will be covering that later. Where'd it go? There. But in America, instead of the police joining the citizens in revolting, we have this kind of stuff going on. And it's despicable. Cops force doctor to sodomize man to look for non-existent drugs, injure him, then make him pay for it. Isn't that nice? Highly decorated officer arrested for filming himself raping over a dozen animals. Yeah, these are the kinds of guys that you have protecting you. Guys that rape animals and force doctors to sodomize men to look for non-existent drugs. I mean, how many of our children have to be slammed at school or punched in the face? How many of these guys got to be caught fucking animals and doing just outright despicable stuff before we get the message that putting individuals in these kinds of positions is just a bad idea? Take the Stanford prison experiment, for example. These people weren't even real state officials, and they still played the role to a T. To a T. The people designated prison guards ended up brutalizing and, in one case, raping one of the imaginary inmates. And that was just an experiment. Now, apply that to actual, reality. these cops are going around behaving just like those guards did in those experiments, or in that experiment, and I do not see it stopping anytime soon unless we put a stop to it. Another one, cop has been found guilty for punting handcuffed teen's head like a football. School cop indicted after leaked video showing them savagely beating a 14-year-old child. Again, how many of our children have to be assaulted by these guys? How many animals got to be raped by these guys? How many people have to be falsely imprisoned by these guys before we start fighting back against them? Remember, the pen, right here, the pen, cannot exist without the sword. Right here. Damn it. Cannot exist without it. And the sword cannot exist with any legitimacy without the pen. Take away the sword, and the pen goes away, because they have no roided out bodyguards to protect them from the public when they initiate initiate criminal policies against the citizens. And they are criminal. I mean, a guy lost his property because of eminent domain. Theft. The government stole his property. And they can do the same to you. So, apparently, George Washington would be pleased because cannabis is now legal to grow in all across America, expected to open new opportunities in agriculture, medicine, and biofuel. And it shouldn't have been outlawed in the first place. Can you imagine how many trees could have been saved just by growing hemp? But George Washington was rather fond of the hemp plant. This is an excerpt from one of his letters. I want you to make the most of hemp and plant it everywhere on my farmlands that haven't been previously reserved for other things. The establishment of arsenals in convenient and proper places is, in my opinion, a measure of high national importance, meriting the serious attention of Congress. And this is one of those measures which ought to be brought to their view. He wanted cannabis spread from sea to shining sea. Now, we were taken off the gold standard a long time ago, but why can't we use cannabis to back our currency up? It's worth more than our empty paper dollars, our fiat currency. Its industrial uses are well known, but in the 1900s, industry lobbyists moved to prohibit growing and consuming hemp. There was literally no other reason for its outlaw, save the fact that big industry was threatened by its many uses. So, there's one good thing that's happened out of hundreds of bad things. Thought I would bring that one to your attention too. Now I wonder what you got to do to be able to grow this cannabis. Probably jump through a shitload of hoops. I'm covering a few things here because I want to knock out as much as I can in one video. NSA Bolton tells Trump we need martial law like Ukraine. National Security Advisor John Bolton told President Trump on Monday that the United States must take a lesson from Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko and declared martial law to protect America from growing threats, both foreign and domestic. You know, the biggest threat is our own government. Russia is not over here stealing our rights, now are they? China may be. Apparently, without Trump's consent, Bolton contacted Ukrainian Prime Minister Groysman, congratulating his government for boldly declaring a temporary state of martial law across 10 regions bordering Russia, the Black Sea, and the Azov Sea. The move came after Poroshenko warned of a buildup of Russian forces near Ukraine's border and Russia's seizure of Ukrainian ships. When Bolton asked if citizens were enraged by Poroshenko's actions, Groysman purportedly said not at all. They feel safer with a curfew and armed military patrolling the streets. They overwhelmingly approve, to which Bolton responded, I'm sure Americans will too. And unfortunately, Bolton is right. All the people who sucked Trump's ass, all the people who voted for him, they will overwhelmingly approve of martial law being declared to fight the libtards. They will. After 8 years of whining about the possibility that Barack Obama was going to do such a thing. Remember that? You remember how Alex Jones and Mike Adams and, oh, what's that fucking, Michael Savage, the rest of them, how they whined and whined and whined about the shit Obama was doing, and here we are with Donald Trump doing a lot of the same kind of shit. Do you hear a peep out of them? No. Rather than admonish Bolton, Trump praised his initiative. The president said, what works in Ukraine might not work in the United States, but he agreed to keep all options on the table, according to a White House source familiar with the conversation. Bolton told Trump the United States was ripe for invasion by migrant caravans, Russians, Chinese, and descent Americans who perceive government as a threat. Well, how can you not perceive them as a threat when they have armed goons driving around every day, shooting people in the back, stealing their property, raping their pets, and assaulting their children? Of course, government is a threat. Bolton has always been itching for a war. He's favored war with Iraq, Iran, Syria, Libya, North Korea, Russia, China, and even, as outlandish as it sounds, Canada. He has always chosen conflict over conciliation. In his mind, martial law serves two purposes. Keep the civilians locked in their homes while the military fights whatever invading army he thinks is coming our way, and a means to round up patriots that will likely oppose government overreach. And of course, these patriots aren't going to be Trump supporters. They're going to be the middle-of-the-road types of people who see things for what they are. Bolton even provided Trump with a list of which states require martial law. Under his plan, all states bordering the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, Mexico and Canada, would immediately be placed under martial control. Additional states could be added to the list as needed. Bolton right now sees Pacheco as a hero. That Pacheco had the balls to declare martial law is a huge thing to Bolton. He really wants to see that happen here at home. The thing is, Trump listens to him. Sure, Trump told him to take a pause and calm down, but Bolton is well known for coercing presidents into reckless behavior. And that commenter that I talked about on violence is necessary, he was a little upset about me talking about the possibility that FEMA will be doing operations during Christmas Day. We'll see what happens. It may be true, it may not be true, but what kind of asshole would I be if I seen something like that and it didn't at least point it out to you in case it happened? That's why I talk about this stuff. It doesn't mean I necessarily think it's going to happen, but if I don't say anything about it and it happens, that makes me look like an asshole. And I don't like that. So, I thought I'd share these things with you. Hope that all of you have a great day. Remember, kill the state, live free.